Yes.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Would you all please stand and recite the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start the meeting by having public comments. Whenever you are, Rob.
All right, thank you, Mr. Boyd. My name is Robert Bogue. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. I'm a veteran of the United States Army. And like all service members, I was sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States and its laws. Also a resident of Edgar County. Looking back on the year 2015, I've noticed Jerry Griffin remains employed by Edgar County, despite absolute proof that he lied on his resume, and even after. Airport Committee members Voigt, Farnham, and Helsley were reminded at nearly every study session at every county board meeting of the same. Given the undisputed proof that he grossly fabricated his resume, Voigt, Farnham, and Helsley protected his position at the airport and rewarded his dishonest, deceptive, and unscrupulous behavior with continued employment. Nothing has been done to remedy the situation. Sadly, and in retrospect, it appears as though this county board has crawled into the sewer with Jerry Griffin and his lies, rather than to serve the taxpayers of this county with honor. In mentioning the airport, one cannot rightly do so without in some way mentioning the grant assurances. These are promises assuring fair and equal treatment for all. Promises repeatedly broken by this county board. By example, in 2013, the county board mandated insurances for all T-hangar leaseholders. That was never achieved throughout 2014 and 2015. This failure occurred under Jerry Griffin's management and that of the airport committee's leadership. Again, Voigt, Farnham, and Helsley, and that of this county board. Not a single leaseholder ever fully complied with these requirements. Once again, we find the failure of Jerry Griffin to perform his job as the airport manager, if it was even the board's intention for him to do so. Clearly, the county's insistence for insurance in the fall of 2013 was solely intended to provide cover for the county's wrongful actions of canceling my son, Rusty's lease, earlier in 2013. A lease that did not mention nor have any insurance requirements, and that was canceled before his fatal crash and before the firebombing of airplanes used in his business at the Edgar County Airport. It seems the insurance mandate of 2013 was implemented in the hopes of assuaging the taxpayers' concerns regarding wrongdoing at the airport, but there never was any intention of enforcing these mandates. In fact, there never was or has been fair and equal treatment for all. In 2015, the triple violations of Illinois law by this county and its contractor Hanson Engineering and even the state administrators in Springfield also came to light. The list is lengthy. I'm just going to cut to the chase here. I'm going to talk about predictions. Predictions for 2016. I predict the Illinois Division of Aeronautics will first suspend the current project pending a formal investigation into all charges of impropriety. The NAT project will be dropped. I predict the Division of Aeronautics will investigate the county's eligibility for NIPIAS funding at the Edgar County Airport and find it no longer qualifies for same. That funding will be dropped. I predict the Division of Aeronautics will investigate the many claims that grant assurances were deliberately violated and that unfair and unequal treatment of airport users occurred on several occasions. NIPIAS funding, as well as any other funding, will then be dropped. I predict the Division of Aeronautics will then have to reconcile the triple illegal airport expansions that occurred over the past 10 years, all of which required county zoning that never existed nor was ever implemented. You guys broke the law time and time again. If there's any funding remaining from state and federal sources, that too will likely be dropped. A payback from the county to the state and to the FAA will likely be considered, if not implemented. The Division of Aeronautics will then be forced to address the zoning question. The zoning around our county airport is required by Illinois law and before there is any expansion. Should not violators of Illinois law, such as Mark Isef, this county board, the airport committee members Voigt, Farnham, and Helsley, and Hanson Engineering be held accountable by the Edgar County taxpayers? One would like to think so. Thank you for your time.
All right. Any other public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports. We do have our state's attorney here today. In deference to him, do we want to go ahead with his portion? And Mark,
I think you should stay here for the next round.
Mark, do we need to go into executive session, or do you have a report that you want to give separate, and then we'll go into executive session?
I think of the three items, one can't go into private session, and two need to go into,
So do we want to go over the first one that doesn't need it?
that's fine.
Okay.
At some point I was asked to appear to discuss a position or presentation made at the last month's meeting regarding an issue with Rides Mass Transit and a resolution passed when they merged, replaced, or annexed East Central Illinois Mass Transit District. That's been, I think it was June of 14, so maybe a year, 2.5 years later, year and a half later. And the position of whether or not the resolution is void was brought up to you in a presentation. And certainly that presentation has some merit. But there are other issues that are under that or will arise as a result of that position, and those aren't items that I think are for public discussion. That may be either for the chairman, finance committee, or another committee to develop essentially where the board wants to go. The idea that there are a couple of stakeholders outside of the board, and depending on the position the board takes, there's certainly a likelihood of litigation, one side or the other. And so, you remember the legal TV shows that say anything you can say will be held against you in a court of law or be used against you in a court of law. That probably goes for the potential for civil litigation. In other words, discussing with your lawyer your legal strategies or what you'd like to accomplish or what risk you're willing to take to accomplish certain goals. Probably isn't the best to be discussed in a public setting, because the stakeholders will sit out there, watch, listen, and see which is to their advantage to use, which of you needs to be deposed, and who or what documentation may arise. Essentially, there was a position taken, and one of the stakeholders, division, Department of Transportation Division Bureau Chief, maybe, took a position, a letter to us, that, actually I shouldn't say to us, to King Sutton, the ex-chairman of the East Central Illinois Mass Transit District, saying something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, we're paid back, the rest of the money you have should go to the successor in public transit, which would be Rides. Rides Mass Transit obviously wants the money pursuant to the statute and that annexation. And there certainly is a legitimate issue as to no express authority. Once the money that arose as a liquidation, result of liquidation of East Central Illinois Mass Transit, was passed into the county. So now it's no longer East Central Illinois Mass Transit, and the statute provides for what you do when you dissolve a mass transit district, and so that money goes to the county. There is no express authority, as you know, that's basically what the presentation summarized, was that there's no express authority for a county to spend money on mass transit, other than the statute that provides for establishing a mass transit district. That doesn't mean there aren't implied powers. It doesn't mean there may be other ways to accomplish a goal. It doesn't mean that we're absolved of potentially DOT's interest in the grant funds that were obtained. Now, the accounting for that is going to be near impossible to produce, my guess, because we're talking, and I don't know off the top of my head how many years that East Central Illinois Mass Transit was in place, but the reason East Central Illinois Mass Transit was dissolved was because it wasn't run very well. There were other problems. FBI and U.S. Attorney's Office Assistant U.S. Attorney out of Springfield has been investigating and keeps telling local authority that they're preparing for a grand jury presentation due to the mismanagement of the former director of the Sutton Center that involved the use of grant funds. And they took all the information, they've had it for X number of years, the evidence, and sent to a forensic accountant. And, you know, when we call, supposedly the FBI had come and done local interviews. But in any event, the complications of attempting to trace the source of funds is difficult, time-consuming, and expensive. So, with a grain of salt, I accept the DOT's letter of saying, in general principle, since the county didn't contribute any funds to the establishment of the East Central Illinois Mass Transit District, that the only source of the money could be fair usage or grant funds. That becomes, again, in general, an argument to say, hey, anything you guys have is a result of money not the county's, and therefore, are they tied into some grants? How are you going to establish any money tied to any particular grant with any particular restrictions? Very difficult to do, so there certainly is posturing on every side. And so, you know, at this point, there's still additional information that needs to be obtained. There's probably, on a level of trying to move it through the board, it's probably an individual or committee or somebody should kind of be my liaison. Again, anytime any one of you want to call and talk, you know, office, phone, whatever is convenient for you, to see where we're at, that's certainly welcome and per your schedule. But as far as there being a joint ability to say, hey, what do we want to do? What goals do we have? What's the cost benefit of going in this direction? Is it worth a lawsuit? Is it not worth a lawsuit to achieve a certain goal? And setting the goal is what you would do, and then we calculate the risk and proceed accordingly. But as far as any specific ability to talk about that, you're telling all the stakeholders, the potential litigants, hey, here's what we're thinking, here's what we're going to do, and it gives them kind of the heads up. And you don't want to do, you know, it's like a coach giving his pregame and his strategy to the other side and talking about it in the press, which, you know, you all see the generic information that coaches give to sideline reporters. Or you want to keep your cards close to the vest, because it's going to end up in my guess is, estimation, judging from other things we have to deal with today, it's going to end up in litigation. It's just a matter of which of the stakeholders has the best or most aggressive opportunity.
So we need to discuss it fairly quietly.
Or generically,
Generic.
not trying to hide anything, it's just a matter of
No.
strategies and tactics or goals could be talked about in a generic or broad view, and then we kind of get into the details, maybe a committee chairman or somebody that would represent the board, so we could say, here's the basis for doing this, here's the basis for doing that, it's still a risk.
Sure.
What do you guys want to do when you talk about it in committee or talk about it as a board and make a decision?
The other thing I want to let you know, in talking to the townships up north, they were billed on a semi-annual basis and paid into Mass Transit.
Is another source of funding
Right,
for
Burlett's Creek, Edgar Township, and Ross, and I shouldn't say the other one because I'm not sure, but they all paid in, they were all billed for ridership and asked to contribute to, and did contribute to rides over the, or not rides, to the Mass
East
Transit.
Central Illinois Mass Transit.
Right. So there's another source of income that they.
None of the other townships?
I don't know. I have not talked to them.
Okay.
I did not want to talk to or say that any, and they may have all contributed. But I know that some of the townships, and I don't know the amount of money, but they also paid into rides on a periodic basis.
Right, so looking at, like, again, Forest View, then there may be additional stakeholders.
Right, that's all I'm
Depending
saying.
on how they gave their contribution, or
What they
under
were-
what authority they were billed, whether it's contractual, whether it's statutory, they may have a point of saying, well, why didn't it come back to township?
I understand, and that's why I wanted to
Okay.
make it, to tell you that, yes.
Where's the money at?
It's in our general fund. All of that was put into our general fund. What do you guys want to do at this point? Do you want, Mark
Sounds
and
like
I,
it's another one of those things where every other month we're gonna get sued about something anyway, and
Right.
regardless of this, if I'm
Separate.
understanding you, we're gonna get sued or have possible litigation, I don't care what we decide. So we just need that, what you're asking for is for us to get a committee or get a group or have a liaison between you to kind of have a plan of attack. We're gonna get sued by these people if we do this, we're gonna get sued by these people if we do this, and we may get sued by other people if we do either one of them.
So,
now, I also,
Risk management, or risk assessment, I guess is the best way to put it in the generic corporate sense.
and I also understand that the other county involved in the East Central Illinois has not dissolved or passed their resolution involving this.
I think Clark's done everything they've done under the,
Mark,
I have no idea, because I don't deal with Clark County, but my understanding is this is not even an issue anywhere else, so they may have gone through and dispersed the monies and done,
No, they haven't, they're still waiting for their money, according to their one, and accordingly, they have not dissolved, they haven't passed a resolution like we did.
again, my understanding would be they went through the same paperwork as we did, the same, it was a big rush, see, in order to go back to that time frame, for those of you who weren't involved in it, the public transportation was sinking here.
Okay.
Rides came in as a kind of a consultant at first to help them straighten their books out, maybe is ultimately knowing they would have maxed or moved. The only way they could do that is to have contiguous or adjacent counties. And so, I believe it went from Crawford, Clark had to agree to it first before they could get to Edgar, to the next Edgar. And so, in a flurry of activities, because if you, some of you may recall, because it's my pet peeve, it was all done at the last minute because it was so important for grant abilities to have this done, I can't remember exactly, July 1st. That was the beginning of the grant years, we're gonna lose X number of money and tens of, not hundreds of thousands of dollars, we gotta have this thing done. And so we kinda all looked at it, we went through it, we knew East Central Illinois Mass Transit was in trouble because of its relationship and co-directorship with the senior center and the difficulties they were having. And so this was passed. Again, things presented with Clark has to go in order for Edgar to go, and since the East Central Illinois Mass Transit was made up of Clark and Edgar. And so the partners or the co-creators were on the same page or had to become on the same page, because if Clark didn't go, we couldn't, because we weren't contiguous to whoever the northernmost reach of Ride's Mass Transit District was. And so it was Ride's expertise that was relied upon in the annexation and the speed with which it went. So my understanding was it went through, the difficulty came up when the first check from East Central Illinois Mass Transit District just went to Edgar County. It was kind of like, well, you guys take care of it and give Clark whatever they get.
went to Augie.
That's Edgar County. And so, don't say Augie, because that sounds.
Oh,
personal.
I'm sorry.
Goes to Edgar County. We saw that and said, well, you can't do that. It's gotta be divided up pursuant to the routes, proportionally to the routes driven in each county. So,
Right.
2/3, 1/3, take the money back, reissue the checks. Again, I'm gonna use rough numbers, 'cause I don't really recall, but let's say it's 225, it was 75, 150 maybe, when they
Right.
then split the checks up and sent them to the Clark and Edgar County. And then there was some property and some smaller items to deal with as far as finally dissolving East Central Illinois Mass Transit District. As far as I knew, we directed East Central Illinois Mass Transit to send Clark their share. We aren't gonna play banker for them, and so they distributed it And the only reason, again, my understanding would be that they got the money. What they did with it, whether they dispersed it all, may be what you're talking about. They may not have dispersed it, but as far as the resolutions and stuff would have gone through the same time we did ours. It was, would have been prior to ours, as my recall was.
Augie, can you check that with the Clark County Clerk and see what they've done and what they haven't done, so we have as a matter of absolute record?
Yes.
So that if stuff's swirling around that's true or not true, we know what has been done.
My question then to you is, if Alan's right, this entity could sue, that entity could sue, this entity could say, well, we're gonna sue dependent on any. If they do, are you representing us on this, or does this go to tort?
It depends. Who should
Somehow I knew you were gonna say that, but my issue then is, should we be?
Well, let me clarify so you'll understand. It's not
Okay.
quite as simple as saying, and I could easily make it simple and then just do what I need to do and not inform you because of the subtleties and the hair splitting you guys roll your eyes at and don't quite understand. Just as if I went into any one of your areas and said, I can mix up I can make a sandwich. What the hell, Andy? How come it's so tough? There's skills that each of us have in our particular areas. There are, in this particular case, and it will come also down to potential coverage depending on what you sue for. In some causes of action, if you only sue for certain relief, you may not be entitled to insurance coverage. If you sue in another way for financial gain, you may be entitled to insurance coverage, which obviously implicates our purse. So that's why there's other issues to talk about that I don't think are suitable for public.
Well, my question to you then was this: if that's a possibility, would we be smart to get them involved in it early on and let them say, here's who we'd rather represent in this?
No, the idea is depending on what the county board does, one of the stakeholders will decide they're gonna do something in court to force the hand or to correct it or to second guess it. Depending on which stakeholder it is, they'll ask for certain type of relief. If it's financial in nature, that may implicate insurance coverage.
Okay.
If it's not financial in nature, just what's called a declaratory judgment or injunctive relief, it may not. We've had that turned down before where I've represented the county because the insurance company has said, hey, they're not asking for any money. You have insurance coverage for money, liability for money damages, not for stop this particular thing you're doing. Declaratory judgment is going to court and saying, Judge, we think this should be the result, not that. What do you say? The judge just determines.
Well, obviously it's the $100,000 that everybody's arguing about, so we would.
Well, that's what some would be arguing about, others wouldn't. So that's why, and again, I don't want to get in.
Yeah,
That becomes
What do we
the,
want to do at this point as a board? What type of time frame do we have here?
well, I would talk about it more specifically so someone knows about it and then can talk to each.
Okay.
It's the.
All right, what do you,
You go talk to him one-on-one and then report back to us. How's that sound?
Well,
Or if there's a committee that needs to address, and that's
we
up to
got
the
the
chairman.
finance committee too.
I'm just saying, an individual, I can lay it all out as I see it, they can maybe better understand it, to understand like, oh, okay, here are A, B, and C, here's what the consequence is for A, B, and C suing us. And again, it's also, a goal has to be developed on, if you're gonna get sued anyway, overall, what do you want to happen with the money?
Right.
And again, I don't want to talk about it here because your
Right.
ideas of what you want and the goal, you're going to get sued anyway. That's the nature and risk of doing business. And so the question is, as long as the goal is a worthy one determined by the board and it has a chance, it'll be risk management. Here's our chances, and you have to make a decision.
Alan, what were you gonna say?
I'm still just thinking.
Oh, I thought you were ready to.
Well,
Go ahead.
to me, it's either our money, or if it's not our money, whose money is it? Does it go to rides? We need to make that determination. I know that's not an easy answer, but,
We need to not discuss that though, right?
well,
I mean, those will be part of the goal. It's a goal.
I know what you're saying. I
I
didn't
mean-
mean, I wasn't saying.
so we need to, with your advice, whose money is it? After you get all the facts, you say you've got more people to talk to. So that's the way I see it.
I could
maybe
be
it's
the
that-
main, but
maybe
you
it's not
guys
that
can go
simple.
in and talk with him all you want. I mean, we can all go in and talk to the state's attorney,
Right.
because he represents each and every one of us as a board member,
Mhm.
correct? And I guess you and I can discuss it and try to come up with the right thing for the people of the county and for the process, I guess is the best way to put it.
How much of the 150,000 of people the county put in?
Let me go back to the county contributed nothing to the
That's what I'm
formation.
saying, yeah.
Now, what's new information
Yeah.
is the fact that townships may have been being built by RISE.
Right.
That's a new information. I'm not certain if all the townships are contributing. That opens up again a whole nother level of,
But that is voluntarily that they were doing that. They weren't.
I don't,
Yeah.
again, we have no idea.
We don't know. Yes, you're
And you
correct.
don't know
Could have
what
been
kind
stick 'em
of-
up,
What kind of money.
No,
they-
and I just know that several of them that I talked to had, and
that
it's,
money.
and you know, they could be contributing to something that they thought was not rights, but the East Central, and maybe it went to something else.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the senior program, and that, we don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah. Be hard to ask for the money back if we didn't put any in.
Well,
That's
but
what
you
I'm
still
saying,
have to
the
look at
legality
the,
of it.
you
Yeah.
still have to look at the law and
Yeah,
what,
right.
we have not been able to sit here and do anything over the last 5 years that the law didn't say we were to be able to do. We have had that thrown up in our face how many times? You can't do that because you don't have the power to do it.
Yeah.
So, and that's what you led off with saying to start with. I mean, it's one of the ways to look at it.
I mean, the overall, there are always gray areas in implied powers and express powers. Everybody it's kind of like if you go back to the Constitution, are you a strict constructionist or is it a living, breathing document that you interpret in the year 2016? Some will say, I do this, you can only do this, and then that leads to ridiculous results because they didn't have certain things way back then, so you have to interpret something. But it can't be a completely meaningless document in 2016 that you just twist for your own purposes. So, again, there's no easy, safe, black and white way of doing things. And we'll get into that on these other two issues that.
Right. So, are we
Are we ready to go
okay
into-
on that? So,
Do we
Mark
need
and
to
I
go
will
in-
talk, you're obviously always welcome to go in and talk about this issue. In fact, you may even get a call from me and say, you need to go talk to Mark, okay? So, all right? So are we gonna go into executive?
Closed session?
Yes.
Chairman, I move we go into closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of public body, also pending litigation, and also negotiation.
Is there a second to that, please?
I second it.
Mr. Helsley seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. It does carry. We will be going into executive session, so we would ask our guests to make a decision, and 2 seconds later, you got a loss. Are we ready?
We're back open.
Okay, we're back into regular study session.
They're in Aaron's office, Alan.
If you guys don't have much, you can always give it on Wednesday morning, but I would ask, since Derek's got an airport meeting tonight, I thought Derek might want to just talk a little bit about the airport.
Okay.
Well, that's one that hasn't been, meeting. Nothing.
You don't even want to tell them we've met with us? We don't have to discuss it.
Did we get anywhere with that? We didn't.
No, but gentlemen, Mr. Mills is aware that he has to get to us with whatever he wants to do, or if he wants to be considered for another year on the lease, he has to get to us by, I think it's March 6th.
Correct.
So he is aware of that. We have another meeting set up with him next week, tentatively. Yeah, and so we're gonna go from there. And it has to be a written, and he has to follow the contract how he has to let us know, okay?
Yeah, it says within 90 days, it has to be a mutual agreement
Right.
between the two parties.
And he has to mail it to the address and all the things, he has to follow the contract, okay? Mr. Zuber, do you have anything?
I don't really have anything specific. I was just double checking with Augie on this ordinance for approving real estate tax abatement for Cadillac products, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody's turned in everything they need. I mean, you got something from probably somebody that says we're gonna
Paul, yeah.
give it to.
Paul
okay,
Ruffin.
I just wanna make sure
Oh,
that
yeah.
you've got that.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
We
yes.
just needed authority to sign it.
Yeah, but sometimes we never.
Yeah, Paul sent that.
Okay, good.
I had a question on that because it says
Yeah.
Yeah,
Edgar County Special Service Ambulance and Community Mental Health Board.
yes.
I guess I'm confused there.
Well, we set their,
We set the levy.
Levies. But wouldn't it be, I guess, are you asking why wouldn't it be on all the rest of the levies too? I thought it was on all levies. No?
well, it would be, but we're speaking on behalf of the county, those two other entities, because we set
Right.
their levies.
Right.
But it would be for everything else.
I was gonna say, isn't it also like for health, public health and all that other stuff too? Or,
I
you
just know what was sent to me.
But that's what I'm trying to figure out. That's good, that's, I guess, what part of,
I'm glad we're asking.
yeah, what it was. I thought it was for the real estate tax abatement would be for maybe everything that it was in the past, and I thought that was all county. That the county had total control over the set.
Would you
funds
call
from-
Paul and double check with that and make sure that that
Yeah,
question is
that was
answered?
actually my question.
And they may be handling, they may be handling that direct.
Right, well, then
We'll
that's fine.
I'll have an answer for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for bringing
Yep.
Anything else, Carl, on that?
No.
We'll get an answer, and make sure we're okay on that.
Me,
Anything else, Carl,
No.
under here? Yes,
I have, right quickly, it's been alleged that Jeff Voigt, Carl Farnham, and Mike Helsley are directly responsible for not knowing about zoning at the Crosswind One-Way project, and they're gonna try to get the money back that was illegally spent on the Cross Runway project. Now, I'm just right quick, I wanna interject this into the record. Lynn Hutchison opened that Crosswind Runway on October the 15th approximately. That's when he took the first flight. That's when it was done. I was sworn in on December the 4th, I believe it was, of that year. It's alleged that was there during the whole thing, orchestrated it, was responsible for doing that illegal act, and I just want you gentlemen to know that you may have been there, and you may have been there, but I wasn't there. That is a
and
lie.
I was counting on you defending me.
Well, I'm sure you didn't have anything to, I'm sure you didn't know about the zoning issue, but I had nothing to do with the Crosswind Runway. I wasn't elected, I didn't serve, nothing.
For my friends.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay.
It was before our time, but
Okay?
I guess a lot of stuff was blamed on a lot of people.
And another thing, did you ever swear me in as a deputy? Was I ever sworn underneath you, and did I ever function as a deputy sheriff
Regular
underneath you?
cohort.
That you remember? No.
You were not.
Not secret or nothing. One time I rescued you at the jail, but other than that, that was under a capacity of
Yeah.
the state of Illinois, not the.
On both
You were never a
parts.
deputy under my.
That's correct.
Michael, do you have anything else?
No, I'll shut up.
No. you're
I
fine.
just want to put some
We
things in the
appreciate
record.
the input.
That's
Okay.
right.
How about you, Mr. Bruner? How are you and the
Not
cats
much.
doing?
The pound is full of dogs if you need it.
What kind?
And they're eating the cats?
She picked up, female had 7 puppies the other day, so that kind of fills up the place. I need to talk to Janet at the health department. Number 1, on the asbestos part, I haven't talked to her about that. Number 2, our dentist did not re-sign, so we're looking for a dentist at the health department. We made a pretty good offer on his pay, but he complained about the health insurance. So that's the reason why I didn't re-sign the contract. He has got a pretty good offer from St. Anne's and Terre Haute, so we're gonna be looking for a dentist. We got his salary up to, can you say how much?
Public record.
Yeah.
145,000, but he said the insurance is the reason why I didn't re-sign, so.
The county's health insurance wasn't good enough.
Good.
Well, he had, I figured
Well,
that
he
was a
can't-
separate
kids on.
entity
That's what I
anyway.
thought too,
Can't
but
get his
according to
kids
Janet,
on.
that's the reason why I didn't sign the re-signs. I'll have to talk to her about it. No, we gave him a 12% increase,
Yeah, that's
and then 12% the next year too, so
72.
he turned it down, so I'll be looking for a dentist.
What's those Brady doing?
Okay, thank you. Andy?
I got a few things, but I don't want to keep it too long. Vent flue is installed and operating. I don't know if anybody's been by, but I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had visions, and when I called the engineering company that manufactured it in Carolinas, North Carolina, they said I said, I'm concerned about putting those hot flue gases out that close to the ground. He said, you don't understand. He goes, it's a mixing chamber that mixes the cool air outside and hot. I mean, when that thing's at full boil, you can walk out, stick your hand under it. It's just warm, and you don't notice it. I'm real happy with it anyway. So, one thing at some point we're gonna have to look at is, and I knew it was in there. There was a water heater that was vented into that. Now you can go one of two ways. You can either put a power vent on the water heater, which are pretty expensive, or you can put an electric water heater in there that's pretty minimal cost. So at some point we probably need to replace the water heater down there, because it's still in the same old flue that was there now.
Oh, it's not into the new system.
Well, it can, because that new system is on demand with the furnace,
I see.
with the boiler, and the problem with that gas water heater is it doesn't put out that much heat. It probably isn't gonna draw much up through there, so at some point, I mean, I would just, at some point, put an electric one in there. They don't use that much hot water in the courthouse. And then you can do away with that whole flue that's in there, take sawzall stuff, cut it out and get it out of there. But that's something to look at. The roof, we had some leaks, but it was a phenomenal rain we had.
Oh, the wind
And
just,
the wind, and I think that's what a lot of it was, is
Right.
Jeff called me and said, hey, we got some leaks, and I went in and we looked, and we got up in the bell tower, and the water was running down the roof, and then the minute it got to the bottom, it was blowing back up on, it was just going like, making a circle, blowing back up. So I think what a lot happened is, there's no underlayment under those shingles anymore, that's all gone. But with that wind blowing like it was blowing it up under those shingles with no underlayment, it would drip through. So we had quite a few leaks. I just kinda have to monitor it and hope you don't get a driving wind and rain.
I'd been
like that.
interested to see what it was doing yesterday. It was kind of a steady rain.
Yeah,
Might not leak.
I was busy yesterday, I didn't have a chance to.
Yes, it snowed yesterday.
It's cold.
Yeah. Day before.
Day before.
Oh, okay.
what else, Andy?
We had some water in the basement, and I think at some point, we need to I know what's causing some of that water in the basement, at least I think, is a lot of that, you've got the semicircle drive, or walk around the courthouse, and then you've got all these downspouts that come, and they terminate about, I don't know, 8-10 feet away from the actual courthouse. Well, what's happening is when you get a big rain like we got, and any sizable amount of rain, it actually pools up inside that circle and comes back. There used to be, at some point, a drainage system that I think probably went into the storm sewer. And I guess, you remember,
Yeah.
they tried to clean that out, they had core.
Gene Ray had it all dug up, and we put a lot of new tile in, and he ran the camera through to find all the problems, and yeah, we had a bunch of it dug up and replaced 20 years ago.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know how many years ago, they had Jason Gore come to try to rotor-root some of it, and he said it's collapsed. He doesn't know how,
So the volume of water dictates, or
whether it's gonna leak in the basement, and at some point, something needs to be done. I mean, I've got ideas on my own, whether you could take and get somebody with a bore machine to come under that sidewalk, or replace, at some point, some of those cracked sidewalks, you could maybe collect that, run something under it, and dump it out, a little kind of something to dump it on the other side of the
Sidewalk.
sidewalk and get it away from the foundation. It's something to look at. Next big rain probably have to. I don't know if anybody's looked at the downstairs courtroom. Actually, you can look Wednesday. Over in the corner, I had Bob take up a piece of carpet and redo the original floor that's under there.
Oh, okay.
And I think it looks pretty nice. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen that.
Well, look at it on Wednesday. I'm pretty impressed with it.
Remind us though, okay?
Okay, and I think, he's got a couple, Bob said, Cash came in and said, wow, you guys gonna redo the courthouse like original? And I'm impressed with it, so I
Right
think.
after we get through with the fixing the
Yeah,
main
fix
roof.
it. Yeah. Another big rain like that. But anyway, look at it, I think it's a real possibility to take that carpet up
In the upstairs or downstairs?
downstairs.
Where we meet.
Oh,
Two, take that carpet up and just clean that floor. He put a scrub pad on it and then waxed it 2 or 3 times and.
Nice color.
don't
Nice
forget,
color. I don't-
we may have an acoustics problem in there.
Well,
Not careful.
deal with one thing at a time.
Is there something that might be, aesthetically wrong somewhere else that you don't see? Like, was there something that marred the floor and they're like, oh, that's
Broken tiles or
unsightly.
something, that's a possibility. Now, there are a few broken ones there, but
Derek Indian, his original thing, we looked at this last year, was like, if we did something like that, worst case scenario, because that carpet is torn, worn, I don't know if you see when you come in.
Just replace the carpet.
You're just gonna have to put,
some more
probably
carpet.
gonna put carpet back in regardless, so if we thought if we looked at what was there and saw what happened, even if it was down the road, we just slap
So
the
you
carpet
take it
over
off,
anyway.
put some other down, put some, you could put, maybe possibly put some area rug, like an area rug underneath the middle part or something.
You are just way too good on that eclectic stuff, you know that.
We were out, we went to a place in South Carolina, it's an old courthouse that they redid, and they had rugs, and anyway, it's something that, I'll bring the pictures.
Let's say, show us on your phone.
We could put a sandwich shop up there too.
And the only other thing is the probation, we're looking at, I'm gonna clear this up with Monty, but we've okayed it like a temporary door through the courtroom number 3. And I cleared this with Judge Garth, he was fine with it, in fact, I had a meeting with him, and Jeff Wood, and Monty, and Judge Garth, because I kept getting competing, one guy would say this, and the next guy said, you know what, we'll all get together. And so, so to possibly give Monty a couple more offices in the manner that he wants, and put maybe I got Mark Sullivan, who's actually, I need to get back with him, I think he's located a door that he had from someplace, so we could put in there at minimal cost, and that would go from through courtroom 3. There is a door in where Jonna's office is there, and then the one on the other side of that courtroom, if you could put a temporary where they could use that as a hallway to go back there. And so that's something we're looking at getting.
I'm glad you had them all together.
Yes, well, I've got too many different ideas from too many people, so let's all get in the same room at once. So,
Don't forget the clock.
okay.
Hey, you know
I've had
what?
people,
We talked about that a little
Let's
bit,
go
Carl. We said that committee ahead of us should take care of that clock, therefore it's not our problem.
Well, I tried. I talked to Bob umpteen times.
if you've got to get somebody willing to rappel from a strap on the top of the courthouse, and the old clock company doesn't do it anymore.
Well,
They used to, and they don't.
Who do we talk to about that?
Well, we get some Marine that knows how to do that kind of stuff, some mountain train
They
guy.
can fly a helicopter and hang somebody else.
Yeah, that'd be a better
People
idea.
could do that.
And we
They could.
Don't wanna forget that, and
It takes, I guess, a millwright, someone who does work on
I'm not
tall.
afraid of heights.
Yeah, someone not afraid of heights, that's not afraid to do that.
You know, there may be somebody out of Holland in Terre Haute or someplace like that that does, I never thought about
what we
that
need to do is
part.
talk to the Midwest Restoration.
Yeah,
They surely know somebody, because they do a lot of building work
Okay.
that would maybe have somebody who could do that,
Okay.
in a matter of just taking something off.
There's 4, yeah, it's a matter of taking the hand off the clock,
And then,
undoing a set screw, they pull that shaft through on the
Right.
inside, put a new gear on, and shove it back through and put the set screw on. But it takes, there's 4
Sounds pretty easy.
access places where you can hook a rappelling rope
Right.
and come down to that.
Gary and I saw that in operation a couple of years ago, whenever they were trying to do that, and what was he saying? Not as easy as it looks, and I'm thinking like, it doesn't look easy at all. I mean, that guy, remember he came over the top?
Oh, yeah.
I like,
There was some guy doing the courthouse in Terre Haute, hanging out painting it. You would call him.
When?
Last summer.
Oh,
He was hanging out on the roof painting it.
They might have some suggestions who we can contact to do
That's when it
that.
gets down about 5 below, 6 below 0, that'll make
I know
it.
some of those guys, folks will call them.
I don't know who was doing it.
Okay.
Went past Gary.
Well, is that everything?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, is,
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Vice Chairman, are we ready to close this session? Are we-
He might have something to say when he gets
I
back.
don't care.
Okay, in his absence, how about if you go to me?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's even better.
Please.
Do you have any questions on your board packets that you haven't already asked?
Oh, no.
Other than an agenda that's in the bill, that's not what's in there. isn't it?
Hey, I noticed I've been getting on email copies of all the bills, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
That's
me
it.
too.
I can sit there and look at that.
Yeah.
Some of us that get computers, though.
Where are we at?
The county clerk
County
report. I asked if they had questions on the board packet or the agenda.
That's what the agenda, just wanted to go over item number 10. Dina wants to go after bids for aerial flights. I want to make sure everybody understood, in order to get the proper time and the proper, you have to go early. If we wait to bid that out next year, it might be 18 or 19. They can only schedule so many flights. So she wants to do that. That will come out of the GIS fund, okay? So,
I just saw that.
I don't have a problem with that, because we need to have that.
right, it hasn't been done
No.
since, well, it's been a long time.
8 or something like that.
And she wants it done at a certain time of the year.
Yeah,
too.
it has to be
So
done
it's-
in the, yeah,
it's all
you have to
timing.
have foliage off,
Yeah.
and in order to get scheduled, we have to bid it now.
Now, what exactly, I don't wanna take too much time, but what exactly is the aerial photos? Can't you Google it?
But no,
Well,
that's the problem. I thought, because you don't know where they're at. And one thing, if you're gonna get to a point, if she hasn't done already, they're gonna be able to save time and money, and maybe not everybody would love it, but they're gonna be able to do more and more from the sky, and therefore, if they're assessing you basically from the sky, it needs to probably be our sky. So, I mean, like, because those are the actual pictures, and she's also gonna take them, I would assume she's gonna take them, well, I think you said no foliage, because they'll be able to measure roofs, they'll be able to measure sides, they'll be able to do this, and that gives you a pretty good idea.
They have
That
to be
would my
done at a
guess.
certain elevation, with
Right.
certain specifications, et cetera.
I thought they were already doing that.
In like 2008 or something, probably.
That was the last time I was
I
doing
think it's changed since then.
it. Anyway,
But
I
like
just
they're
wanna
saying,
make
it's
sure.
Google,
Dina
they do
will-
it more often than that.
Dina
I mean,
will
you
present a
have to have-
report. You can
Okay.
ask her, but I wanted to make sure you were a little prepped on it so you know what was coming out,
Okay.
okay? I think everything else on there is fairly straightforward. Augie, do you have anything else?
Looking through my file as we speak.
We have that thing on the internet, or what do you call that, at the courthouse, that we need to meet, but not right away.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's not,
Yeah, that's not
anything.
something needs to be done now.
No, that's just a technology.
Technology at the courtrooms.
I think that's all I have.
Anybody have anything else? The finance report wasn't downloaded in with all the bills and so forth, so I'll bring you a finance report as of Wednesday morning, so you'll have that. Is there anything else to come before the meeting? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate it.